the creative act is not only rainbows and all the shiny things, right? It's also, there's a darkness to it. But I learn over my life to see, I will use this word, beauty in a darkness. And how do you do that? How do you identify the beauty in disturbance, in challenge, in change, and I had a lot of trials in my life to teach me this lesson, and I'm keep returning to it and keep revisiting the space. Step one is realize that as much as you have control on things, in the same time you don't. There is things beyond your control. That's one thing. And when the things happen, when the challenges things happen, is do not look at it as a good or bad. Under this only this way or that way. That's a very box way of seeing the world. But looking at it from the point of experience, human experience is a mystery, is an ultimate gift. To experience the beauty and the dark is the ultimate gift. For example, in April of 2020, when pandemic hit it, besides the pandemic, I had a fire in my studio. My first studio where I had a substantial collection of my work. Already hundreds or thousands of hours of my work. Hanging on the walls, everything burned out in less than 30 minutes. I've been inside. It's been midnight. Everything what I could focus on, it's saving my cat and letting my friends know, like, get out of the house, because we're all in danger. Lights went off, the walls were falling, everything was burning. Firemen came through. I've seen my house, my home, my 2 years of my life being burned in fire. And I was losing my shit, to be honest. In that moment, I was losing my shit. So it took me several years to fully recover and heal and think about this process, because I don't recommend anybody go through that. That's dark, to losing your home, to losing work of your life, and your experiments, all the ideas on over 30 original artworks and so on, just in few minutes. It's one of the biggest lessons I ever received. But over the years, I learned to see beauty in it. I also learned to face death. Death, nobody want to talk about it. That's a dangerous subject. Everybody want to live. Everybody want to be healthy. Everybody want to be strong and be like rich and wealthy and all those beautiful things. But there is a beauty to all of those processes. And if we consciously, being present as much as we can, realizing that this experience is here for us to experience different angles and corners of human existence is beautiful thing. Ultimate teachers came through to us so we could talk about it. We could share it in our podcast, write books, or make music, create projects, whatever it is. Ultimately, those experiences back then leads you to next you, to the future you, to the version of yourself, which is hopefully will become better and hopefully will serve the world in the best possible way and serve the others as well.
How do you see beauty exactly in your gallery burning down?
It's extremely challenging, extremely hard. Well, you have to surrender. You also realize, once again, you realize that you don't have control on everything, so you value a present moment more. You value this moment, this day, more than ever before. You value how you spend your time, and you realize that we are quite limited by time, 4th dimension, So that forces you ultimately to be even more consciously present. That's why I mentioned before. I worry that there's not enough time to execute everything sometimes, Not like I'm worrying, but sometimes like, damn, the day already gone. How come? And it's nice, but I wish there would be more to it. I have to, another day, boom, already 2025, almost the end of it. The value which comes in after the challenge and experience is beautiful. The value of life, the value of your, of your cat, dog, of your partner, of your friends, of what you do, how you spend your time, the depth of perception is definitely being magnified in many ways and multiplied. Because of first you're like, oh, okay, like you can be very reckless. I took a lot of reckless decisions in my life. They're cool. Being risky is definitely helpful. But sometimes you have to be careful because you're freaking fragile. You can break, And there's times to be risky, be crazy. And there's times to think twice and not consider.
Very true. Very true. And yeah, it's an interesting statement, isn't it, to say that there's beauty in darkness. But like, I wonder if it'll like make more sense in your head, Jake, if I put it in a couple of contexts. Like when somebody reads a poem at a funeral, okay, and one of maybe it's their best friend or a really close member of their family has passed away, and they read a poem about the fragility of life. In that moment, that's a dark day. Everybody's wearing dark clothing. They're mourning the loss of this person they'll never ever see or experience again. But the goosebumps that will go down your spine as they're reading that poem, there's real beauty in that. There's real beauty in that. And it also makes me think of a concept called the sublime, which I think I mentioned before, Jacob. I don't know if you've heard of this, Alex. I got it from studying the Romantic poets. But the sublime is like all-encompassing, awe-evoking, transcendental beauty in nature, right? But the sublime isn't always necessarily happy. The sublime is often terrifying. So when it was William Wordsworth, I want to say, was writing about being on a small boat in a huge lake, and with all mountains being around him, and it was beautiful, but it was beautiful because it was terrifying, and it was terrifying because it pointed out his insignificance in confrontation with the size of the mountain, and the fact that he could drown in that lake and be consumed by nature. That nature is this divine force of creation of natural beauty, but it also takes away and it consumes. And I think that is also an element of the sort of beauty we can find in darkness.